I think this might be the video that finally forces my neighbours to call the men in white coats, as not only am I going to be removing my wheel to clean behind it, which let's face it is crazy enough in most people's minds, but also give the carpeted arch liners a vacuum off while I'm at it. So if you fancy seeing me being carted off in the back of a van, stick around. So obviously before any cleaning can take place, I need to jack the car up, secure it underneath and whip the wheel off, so let's get going with that. A bit of a random video theme then, but one that quite a few people have asked for nonetheless. So now that I own a car with these annoying carpeted arch liners, thought I might as well use it to try and illustrate how to go about cleaning them. With the wheels having only covered 3,000 miles, I knew the carpeted arch wasn't going to be caked in heavy crud, but there was still enough dirt present to justify getting to grips with it on camera. Plus it was the first time I'd taken a wheel off the Z, so was intrigued to see what lurked behind. So yes, these areas are just going to get dirty again, but no, that doesn't make cleaning them a complete waste of time. Most of what you see here is essentially somebody else's dirt, and I don't want that contaminating the car. Now it's mine. Plus, a deep clean up front means these awkward areas will be far easier to maintain and keep looking fresh in the future. If the carpeted arches you're dealing with are particularly dirty, then you'll want to give them a thorough pre-rinse up front to remove most of the loose crud, or even pull it out by hand, as I've been known to do on cars that harbour chunks of the compacted stuff in there. But with this one only being moderately soiled, I went straight to the application of a chemical cleaner using a pressurised pump sprayer. A traffic film remover, citrus degreaser or all-purpose cleaner like I was using here is suitable for this, and the key is to saturate the material with product, as evenly spraying it over like you would with a plastic liner generally won't cut it. It's also crucial you access the top part of the arch, as it's easily overlooked yet often conceals the most muck, and the last thing you want to be dealing with later down the line is fresh dirt displacement, so ensure all areas are sufficiently saturated. I then go on to hit the arch liner with a few different brushes to really agitate the material and properly work the product in. Now, the stiffer the brush, technically the more effective job it'll do at dislodging dirt, but you don't want to be too aggressive and risk damaging the liner, so I try and meet somewhere in the middle with medium stiffness brushes paired with plenty of elbow grease. There's unfortunately no getting away from the fact this isn't particularly pleasurable, but it's the part of the process that makes the most difference, so it's worth grinning and bearing until you feel that all areas have been adequately taken care of. Another way to clean arches like these is to use a snow foam lance along with one of the potent product types mentioned earlier. Now this is generally more effective on plastic lined arches, as it tends to create a frothy mess on carpeted ones once you start brushing them over, but I just wanted to illustrate it here as a means of quickly providing an all-encompassing application of a cleaning product to an awkward area. After being given a damn good brush over then, the arch liners need to be thoroughly rinsed off to remove everything you've just dislodged, but unlike with plastic liners, working the residue out from absorbent carpeted ones can take some time. As when washing the outside of a car, it makes sense to work from top to bottom here as well to prevent recontaminating any freshly rinsed lower areas. And while I was primarily focusing on the carpeted parts here, it still makes sense to give everywhere else a good blast while you're at it. Once you've spent a fair few minutes rinsing the carpeted arch liner off, then you'll need to get rid of that rinse water before moving on. Now, if you're lucky enough to live in a nice hot part of the world, you can simply let it air dry while you move on to the next arch. However, if you reside on a cold windy rock in the middle of the sea where it lashes down every 5 minutes like I do, then you're going to have to speed the process up with a few towels, a blow dryer or both. So before moving on to the penultimate stage of the process, and while the washer was still out, I thought I'd take the opportunity to give the disconnected wheel a good clean, as although it wasn't particularly dirty, it would have been rude not to. So after being placed onto a drying towel cushioned bucket, it was treated with an active wheel cleaner and left to soak for a moment. Agitated with a brush, then washed over with a mitt and some shampoo. Before being thoroughly rinsed off and set down so I could turn my attention back to the arch. With the arches cleaned and dried as best as possible then, and with the wheel still out of the way, I'm going to take the opportunity to vacuum off the liners, as they are made from carpet, so why not? So while this part might seem a bit silly on the surface, there is method behind the madness. Although most of the dirt is removed during the wet cleaning, that can also serve to force some of it deeper into the material, so for a complete and thorough clean, properly pulling any remaining debris back out is necessary, and what better way to do it than with a vacuum cleaner? You obviously don't have to do this, but if you do decide to go full freak the neighbours out mode, then I recommend switching between the open end of the plastic hose and a crevice tool to safely and effectively access all areas. Now, I spent more time than I'd care to admit vacuuming this particular arch, as although it wasn't very dirty, it was pretty poor quality material, so was slow going, but I wanted to show the difference that could be achieved by doing such a thing, so persisted until most of the stubborn bits of dirt had disappeared. To finish up then, I'm going to treat the carpeted arch liners to a durable exterior fabric guard just to repel any dirt and make future cleaning a bit easier. I went with 303 fabric guard here, as it's specifically designed for exterior applications, so should fare well on these parts. It was generously applied in an overlapping motion to all areas of the carpeted arch to ensure no small spots were missed. And again, you might be thinking this is overkill, but when you've gone to all that effort cleaning, what's another minute or two to protect your work? Now, unfortunately, I couldn't illustrate any water repellency from the protectant, as it takes 24 hours to cure, but it's a decent product, so I'm confident it'll at least help to keep things looking clean. Following a quick wipe down of the surrounding paintwork to remove any overspray then, I finally decided to leave it there. So after all that, you can clearly see that the previously mucky carpeted arch liner was now looking tip top. Granted, it had only been subjected to 3,000 miles worth of dirt, but believe me when I say that it still required a fair few hours to get it looking like this. Again, although these parts remain unseen and will inevitably get dirty again soon, that'll only be light surface dirt, not deeply ingrained stuff that stems from neglect. Plus, there's a certain sense of satisfaction in removing someone else's rubbish and bringing specific areas like these, unseen or not, back up to your standard of clean. So, wheel back on, nuts tightened and car lower back down with unsettled mega arch gap, I could rest safe in the knowledge I had the one cleanest carpeted arch liner on the block. Still, hopefully this gives anyone who's ever considered tackling these awkward parts a better idea of how to go about it. Cheers for tuning in, and see you with something non-Nismo related next time.